They threw me at the Alpha King's feet like garbage, my blood already staining the marble. But when his eyes met mine, it wasn't disgust I saw. It was fear. The iron chains cut into my wrists as I hit the floor. Pain exploded through my knees and I tasted copper. Around me, the royal court erupted in laughter. Behold! My former Alpha's voice boomed through the throne room, our most humble offering to the great Alpha King Demon Blackthorn. More laughter. I kept my eyes down, watching my blood pool on white marble that probably cost more than my entire pack's territory. You insult me with this? The Alpha King's voice was low, dangerous. The kind of quiet that made smart people run. I wasn't smart enough to run. I'd never been smart enough for anything. Your Majesty, she's... My Alpha stumbled over his words. She's pure Omega. Untouched, and she comes from the Ashwood line, descended from... She can't even shift. A woman's voice, cold as winter. I didn't need to look up to know it was Lady Seraphina Nightshade. Every wolf in the kingdom knew about the Alpha King's intended mate. She has no scent, no wolf, she's broken. She's 22 years old, another voice added. Never shifted once. It's unnatural. My fingers curled against the marble. They weren't wrong. I was broken. Had been my whole life. Look at that mark on her neck, someone whispered. Silver, like she's been branded. Probably cursed. Send her back. Better yet, execute her for wasting the king's time. I finally raised my head. Might as well see the man who'd decide whether I lived or died. Demon Blackthorn sat on a throne of black stone, and he was nothing like the stories. They said he was a monster. They said his wolf was so powerful he'd killed his own father in a challenge when he was 16. They said he'd unified the packs through blood and terror. They didn't say he was beautiful. Dark hair, sharp features, eyes like molten gold. He stared at me with an intensity that made my skin prickle, not with fear, with something else, something I didn't have a name for. Stand, he said. I tried. My legs shook and the chains were heavy, and I'd lost too much blood from whatever they'd done to me before dragging me here. The room tilted. Pathetic, Seraphina said. She can't even... I said stand. The Alpha King's power rolled through the room like thunder. I got to my feet, barely. The silver birthmark on my throat burned, and my vision swam. But I stood. Demon rose from his throne. He moved like violence wrapped in control, every step deliberate. The crowd went silent. He stopped in front of me. This close, I could see the scars on his hands, the way his jaw tightened. Your name. Ilara Ashwood, Your Majesty. Why did they really send you, Ilara Ashwood? The question caught me off guard. I opened my mouth, but my former Alpha cut in. Your Majesty, she's a symbol of our complete submission after the unfortunate rebellion. We offer our weakest to show. I wasn't asking you. Demon didn't look away from me. I'm asking her. No one had ever asked me anything that mattered before. They want me dead, I said. The words fell out before I could stop them, but they were too afraid to kill me themselves, so they sent me to you. Seraphina laughed. The Omega has delusions of importance. Why would they fear you? Demon asked quietly. I don't know. It was the truth. I'd spent my whole life trying to figure out why my pack hated me so much, why they kept me alive but treated me worse than dirt. But they do. They've always... The room spun. No, I was spinning. Everything went sideways. I heard gasps, shouts. Someone said poison and someone else said, finish her now. Then strong arms caught me before I hit the ground. Moira, Demon's voice sharp with command. Now! I tried to focus on his face, but darkness crept in from the edges. The last thing I saw was his eyes, wide, shocked, and his wolf, reflected in those golden depths, bowing its head to me. That was impossible. Alpha King Demon Blackthorn's wolf bowed to no one. I woke up in silk. Not the rough blankets I'd known my whole life. Actual silk sheets, soft against skin that felt too hot and too cold at the same time. Easy. An old woman's face appeared above me. Kind eyes, weathered features. "You're safe now, child." "Where?" My throat felt like I'd swallowed glass. "The king's private chambers." I tried to sit up. She pushed me back down with surprising strength. "Don't be foolish. You were poisoned. Wolfsbane, mixed with something else I've never seen." She studied me with those sharp eyes. "I'm Moira, court healer, and you, little Omega, are full of secrets." "I don't have any secrets." "Your body disagrees." She pressed a hand to my chest, and warmth spread through me. "Your wolf is in there, dormant, but definitely present. Something's been suppressing it your whole life." I stared at her. "That's not possible." "I've been tested. They said—" "They were wrong, or they lied." Moira's expression hardened. "Someone very powerful has been keeping your wolf locked away." The door crashed open. Demon strode in, followed by a tall man with military bearing and eyes that assessed me like a threat. "Out," Demon said. "Your Majesty, the council demands—" The other man started. "I said out, Marcus." Demon's voice dropped to that dangerous quiet again. "You too, Moira. We'll speak later." Moira gave me a meaningful look and left. Marcus, the beta, I assumed, followed with obvious reluctance. The door closed. I was alone with the Alpha King in his bedroom. "I should execute you." Demon didn't move from where he stood. "My counsel is right. Your pack sent you as an insult. You're weak, you can't shift, and someone tried to kill you in my throne room. You're nothing but trouble. So do it." I met his eyes. If I was going to die, I'd do it looking at him. "I'm tired anyway." Something flickered across his face. "How old were you when they started hurting you?" The question hit like a physical blow. "I don't." "Don't lie to me, Alara." He moved closer and I caught his scent. Pine and smoke and something wild. I can see the scars, old ones, under the new wounds. 5, I whispered. "Maybe younger? I don't remember a time before." He was silent for a long moment. Then, "Did you feel it? In the throne room?" "Feel what?" "My wolf." His jaw clenched. "It's never submitted to anyone. Not my father, not the council, not the other alphas. It's the reason I'm king. And it bowed to you." I couldn't breathe. "That's impossible." "I know." He turned away, running a hand through his dark hair. "Moira says your wolf is suppressed. Someone's been keeping it locked down. Do you know who?" I shook my head. "Do you know why?" "No. I'm nobody. I'm just—" "You're not nobody." He spun back to face me. "Someone poisoned you in my court. They tried to kill you right in front of me. That means you're important. You're dangerous to someone. Your advisors want me dead too. I heard them. My advisors want a lot of things they won't get." He studied me with those unsettling golden eyes. "You'll stay here, under my protection, until we figure out what you are and why someone wants you dead badly enough to risk my wrath." "Lady Seraphina won't like that." A cold smile crossed his face. "Lady Seraphina doesn't give me orders." He moved toward the door, then paused. "Get some rest. Tomorrow we start finding answers." After he left, I lay in the silk sheets and tried to process everything. My wolf was real. Dormant, but real. Someone had been suppressing it my whole life. Someone powerful enough to fool an entire pack. And the Alpha King's wolf had bowed to me. I was drifting off when I heard voices outside the door. I shouldn't have listened. Should have buried my head and ignored it. But I'd learned young that information kept you alive. "She won't last the week." Seraphina's cold voice carried through the heavy wood. "I've already spoken to Cornelius." "The court sorcerer?" A male voice, oily and eager. "What did he say?" "He said accidents happen in the royal court all the time, especially to weak little Omegas who don't belong here." Seraphina laughed, and it raised goosebumps on my arms. Demon may think he's protecting her, but he can't watch her every moment. And when she dies, He'll finally stop this ridiculous fascination and remember who his real mate is supposed to be. Their footsteps faded. I stared at the ceiling, my heart pounding. I should tell Demon, should warn someone. But I'd been taught my whole life that no one would believe me, that I was nothing, that I didn't matter. Old habits die hard. I pulled the silk sheets higher and tried not to think about all the ways a person could die in a place like this. Wanting to see what would happen next, subscribe to this channel to get to listen to more of our upcoming exciting stories. Click on the subscribe button now. Thank you. Chapter 2. The announcement came at dawn. I was still in Damon's chambers, scandalous enough, when Marcus burst in with 3 other council members. I scrambled out of bed, acutely aware I was wearing a borrowed nightgown that was far too fine for someone like me. Your Majesty, we must discuss the Omega's fate. Marcus didn't even look at me, like I wasn't worth acknowledging. Demon sat at his desk, already dressed, paperwork spread before him. He'd been awake for hours. I could tell by the cold coffee cup and the tension in his shoulders. I've made my decision. He didn't look up from whatever he was reading. The council recommends. I don't care what the council recommends. Now he did look up, and the 3 council members stepped back. Ilara Ashwood will serve as my personal attendant. Silence. The kind that meant everyone was too shocked to speak. You can't be serious, Marcus finally said. A personal attendant has access to your private chambers, your schedule. I'm aware of what a personal attendant does, Marcus. I'm the one who created the position. But she's an Omega, an unshifted Omega from a rebel pack. One of the other council members found his voice. The insult to Lady Seraphina alone. Lady Seraphina doesn't dictate my household choices. Demon's voice dropped to that dangerous quiet. Unless you'd like to challenge that? No one spoke. Ilara will begin her duties today. Moira will provide appropriate clothing. Marcus, ensure the staff understands she's under my direct protection. Anyone who harms her answers to me personally. He said it like a threat. It was a threat. The council members left, Marcus shooting me a look that promised nothing good. When the door closed, I expected Demon to explain, to tell me why he'd just painted an even bigger target on my back. Instead, he went back to his paperwork. You should eat something, he said, without looking up. There's breakfast on the side table. I looked at the elaborate spread of food. My stomach growled, but I didn't move. What's wrong? Why are you doing this? The words came out sharper than I intended. Making me your personal attendant. You could have just, I don't know, put me in the dungeons, sent me away. Why this? Now he did look at me. Because you're safest where I can see you, and because I need answers, Ilara. About what you are. About why my wolf reacted to you. I can't get those answers if you're dead. So I'm useful. Yes. He didn't soften it. You're useful. Is that a problem? It shouldn't have stung. I'd been useful my whole life. Useful for beatings when the pack needed someone to blame. Useful for the worst chores. Useful as a peace offering to get rid of. But somehow, hearing it from him hurt more. No problem, I said. When do I start? Moira arrived an hour later with dresses in deep green and grey, all simple but well made. She helped me into one while clucking about my weight. Too thin, and these bruises. She traced the marks on my ribs with gentle fingers. Your pack should be hunted down for what they did to you. They were already punished. That's why they sent me here. Not nearly enough. She pinned my hair back, studying me in the mirror. You're prettier than you think, child. That'll make things harder. What do you mean? You'll see. I saw within the first hour. The royal court operated on a schedule I didn't understand. Breakfast in the Grand Hall, then morning audiences, then training sessions in the yards, then lunch, then more politics. As Damon's personal attendant, I was expected to follow him everywhere, which meant everyone saw me. The first servant spit in my water glass when she thought I wasn't looking. I was looking. I drank it anyway because I was thirsty and I'd had worse. The second servant accidentally stepped on my foot hard enough to make me gasp. She apologized with a smile that didn't reach her eyes. By lunch, I'd been tripped twice, shoved into a wall once, and had a full goblet of wine spilled down my dress. That one was a nobleman who laughed and said, "Apologies, didn't see you there. You barely have any presence." Demon saw it all. He said nothing. I told myself he was playing a game, that he had to appear indifferent to keep me safe somehow. But it didn't feel like safety when a group of noble ladies surrounded me in the corridor. Serafina led them, beautiful and cruel in a dress that probably cost more than a house. "The king's new pet," she said, circling me like a predator. "Tell me, do you even know which fork to use at dinner, or did your pack eat with their hands?" The other ladies laughed. "I know which fork to use," I said quietly. "Do you?" Serafina stepped closer. "Because you look like you belong in the kennels, not the court. You smell like you belong there too." I didn't smell like anything. That was my problem. No wolf scent. "Lady Serafina, the king is waiting." I tried to move past her. She grabbed my arm, nails digging in. "The king is waiting for you to disappear. This little fascination will end, and when it does, you'll wish they'd killed you back in Silverpine." She released me with a shove. The ladies followed her down the corridor, their laughter echoing. I stood there shaking and hated myself for it. I'd survived worse. I had. But surviving and living were different things. That night, Demon finally spoke to me. We were in his study, smaller than his main chambers, lined with books and maps. He'd dismissed everyone else, and the silence felt heavy. "Sit." He gestured to a chair across from his desk. I sat. "Tell me about your childhood." I blinked. "What?" "Your childhood, before you came here. I need to understand." He leaned back, studying me. "Start with your mother." My throat tightened. "I don't remember much. She died when I was 5. "How?" "They said it was illness, but I trailed off." "But you what?" "I remember fire." "Silver fire. It doesn't make sense, but that's what I remember. And screaming." I wrapped my arms around myself. "After she died, everything got worse. The pack blamed me somehow. For your mother's death? For existing, I think." I met his eyes. "I've had nightmares my whole life. The same one over and over. Silver flames burning everything. A woman singing. And pain. Like something's trying to claw out of my chest." Demon's expression shifted. "What was the song?" "I don't know all the words, just pieces. Something about the wolf who sleeps in moonlight, the wolf who wakes in flame." I rubbed my temples. "It doesn't mean anything." "It might." He stood pacing to the window. "Did your mother ever tell you stories? About your bloodline? About where you came from?" "No. She didn't talk about the past. She just—" I searched for the right words. "She was always watching, like she expected something to happen. She made me promise to hide, to never draw attention, to be small and quiet. She was protecting you? From what?" He didn't answer, just stared out at the darkening sky. "Why can't I shift?" I asked. "Moira said my wolf is there, but I can't feel it. I've never felt it. Someone locked it away." Demon turned back to me. "Someone powerful enough to suppress a wolf completely. The question is who and why." A sharp pain lanced through my skull. I gasped, gripping the chair arms. "Ilara?" The pain intensified. And then I heard it, a voice that wasn't mine, wasn't anyone's, speaking directly into my mind. "They bound me. Find the key." I must have made a sound because Demon was there, kneeling in front of me, hands on my shoulders. "What's wrong?" I heard. I struggled to breathe through the pain. A voice, in my head, it said they bound it. I need to find the key. His hands tightened on my shoulders. "Your wolf?" "I think so. I don't know." The pain was fading, leaving me dizzy. "That's never happened before." "It's waking up." He stood abruptly, ran a hand through his hair. "Whatever suppression was on you, it's weakening. Being here, away from your pack, might be breaking it down. Is that good or bad? I don't know yet." He helped me to my feet. "Can you walk?" I nodded. "Come with me." He led me deeper into the castle, down corridors I hadn't seen before, past guards who saluted and didn't question. We descended stairs, went through a locked door he opened with a key from around his neck. The room beyond was smaller than I expected. Ancient books lined the walls and maps covered every surface. But what caught my attention was the glass case in the centre. Inside lay a single book, so old it looked like it might crumble to dust. "What is this place?" "My private library, the real one." Daimon approached the case. "The public library is for show. This is where I keep the things that matter." He opened the case carefully, lifted the book with reverence. "This is the Chronicle of the Lost. It contains records of extinct bloodlines, wolves who were hunted to death or died out naturally over the centuries." He set it on a reading stand, turned pages with gentle fingers, stopped. "Look." I moved closer. The page showed an illustration, a wolf larger than any I'd seen, with fur that seemed to shimmer silver even in the faded ink, and beneath it, text in an old dialect I could barely read. What does it say? It's a prophecy about the silver wolves. Daemon's voice was quiet. They were the first, the original bloodline, more powerful than any alpha, with abilities no other wolf possessed. They could heal wounds with their touch, communicate mind to mind, resist silver. My breath caught. Resist silver? They were hunted for it. Other alphas feared them, feared their power. He traced the illustration. 300 years ago, the last silver wolf was killed. The bloodline died out. Or so everyone thought. He turned to me. The prophecy says, the silver wolf kneels to none, bears the mark of moonfire on her throat, sleeps in binding until the flames wake her. She who drinks silver and lives, she who calls the king's beast to bow. The room spun. I couldn't finish. You, Daimon, stepped closer. You drank liquid silver tonight at the state dinner. That was supposed to be a test. Seraphina said. I stopped, remembered. The state dinner had been a nightmare. I'd stood behind Daemon's chair like I was supposed to, serving wine, trying to be invisible. Seraphina had made sure that was impossible. She'd called me forward in front of everyone, said she wanted to welcome me properly, handed me a goblet. Drink, she'd commanded, to prove you're loyal to the king, that you're not here to poison him like your rebel pack intended. I'd seen the trap, seen the way the nobles leaned forward, eager. But what choice did I have? I'd drunk it. The wine had tasted wrong, metallic, burned going down. But I'd finished it, set down the goblet, and waited to die. Nothing had happened. The court had erupted in whispers. Seraphina's face had gone white, and Daemon had looked at me with those golden eyes, and I'd seen recognition dawn. You should have died, he said now. Liquid silver kills werewolves within minutes, burns them from the inside out, but you stood there like you'd drunk water. I touched my throat, felt the silver birthmark there. What does this mean? It means you're not broken, Ilara. You never were. He moved closer, close enough that I could feel the heat radiating from him. You're the last silver wolf, and someone's been trying to keep you suppressed your whole life because they knew what you'd become if you ever woke up. The voice in my head whispered again, "Find the key." How do I wake up? I whispered. I don't know. Daemon's jaw clenched. But we're going to find out, because if you're really what I think you are, you're the most dangerous thing in this kingdom. Dangerous to who? Everyone. His eyes met mine, including me. Wanting to see what would happen next, subscribe to this channel to get to listen to more of our upcoming exciting stories. Click on the subscribe button now. Thank you. Chapter 3. Captain Riker arrived at my door before breakfast. He was tall, broad-shouldered, with scars that spoke of real combat and eyes that assessed everything as a potential threat, including me. His Majesty has assigned me as your personal guard, he said without preamble. Where you go, I go. I looked past him to the empty corridor. I don't need a guard. That's not your decision. He stepped inside. Did a sweep of the room that would have been insulting if it wasn't so thorough. The king believes you're in danger. I'm here to make sure that danger doesn't reach you. From Lady Seraphina? Something flickered across his face. From anyone who means you harm. I studied him. He wore his loyalty like armor, but underneath it, I felt something else. Conflict? Pain? The feeling hit me so suddenly I stepped back. One moment I was looking at him. The next I was drowning in his emotions. Devotion twisted with longing. Duty cutting against desire. And underneath it all, a bone-deep fear of losing something precious. Are you all right? Riker moved toward me. I held up a hand. Don't touch me, he froze. What's wrong? How could I explain that I just felt everything he was feeling? That somehow, without even touching him, I'd sensed the way he loved Seraphina so completely, it was slowly destroying him. Nothing, I lied. I'm fine. He didn't believe me. I could feel that too. The ability didn't go away. Over the next 2 days, it got stronger. Every person I passed sent waves of emotion crashing into me. The servants' fear and contempt, the nobles' disdain and curiosity, Demon's guards, professional detachment covering worry, and Demon himself, he was the worst. Every time he was near, I felt the storm inside him. Rage and control fighting for dominance, suspicion, protectiveness. Something darker I couldn't name. I tried to hide it, tried to pretend everything was normal while I followed him through his endless schedule, Riker a silent shadow behind me. But Moira noticed. She cornered me in the healing wing on the 3rd day. Pulled me into a private room and locked the door. Sit, she commanded. I sat. She placed her hands on either side of my head and warmth flooded through me. Her emotions hit me too. Concern, fascination, and a deep, aching sadness. You're awakening, she said, faster than I expected. I can feel things, emotions, from everyone. I gripped the edge of the chair. It's getting worse. It's not worse, it's right. She moved her hands to my shoulders. Silver wolves were empaths. They could sense truth from lies, read intentions, feel the emotional currents of everyone around them. It made them perfect leaders, perfect judges. It's overwhelming, because you haven't learned to control it yet. But you will. She pulled a vial from her pocket. Drink this. It'll help dull the sensations while we work on breaking the binding. I stared at the vial. You said breaking it could kill me. It could, but leaving it intact definitely will. She pressed the vial into my hand. The binding is blood magic, Ilara. Old magic, vicious magic. It's been eating at you since you were a child, suppressing your wolf, dampening your scent, keeping you weak. Every year it gets a little tighter, a little stronger. How long do I have? Months, maybe a year. Her eyes were kind but honest. I've been studying it every time I treat you. Whoever performed this ritual knew exactly what they were doing. They wanted you alive but powerless, suffering but unable to escape. I uncorked the vial and drank. The liquid tasted like honey and ash. Almost immediately, the flood of emotions around me dulled to a manageable hum. Why would someone do this to a child? Fear. Moira sat across from me. Silver wolves were more powerful than any alpha. If people knew what you were, they'd either try to use you or kill you. Your mother was probably trying to hide you, keep you safe. By torturing me? The binding wasn't supposed to be permanent. It was meant to hide your wolf until you were old enough to protect yourself. She touched my hand gently. But your mother died before she could remove it, and whoever killed her made sure it stayed in place. The pain started then. Not physical, emotional. Grief I'd never let myself feel, because I'd been too busy surviving. I don't even remember what she looked like, I whispered. Maybe you will. When the binding breaks, Memories often surface. Things that were locked away. Moira squeezed my hand. But we need to be careful. We need to understand what we're dealing with before we try to remove it. She didn't get the chance to explain more because Riker burst through the door. You need to come with me. Now. I stood. What's wrong? The king wants you in his vault, immediately. He looked at Moira. You too, healer. The vault was deep beneath the castle, protected by guards and magical wards that made my skin prickle. Demon was already there, along with Marcus and 2 council members I didn't recognize. Thank you for coming. Demon's formality told me this was official, dangerous. We've received intelligence about potential artifacts connected to Silverwolf bloodlines. I need you to examine them. He gestured to a table covered in objects, old jewelry, weapons, books bound in materials I didn't want to identify. Why me? Because if you're what we think you are, you'll react to them. Silverwolf artifacts respond to Silverwolf blood. He moved closer, lowered his voice. I need to be sure, Ilara, before we proceed. I approached the table slowly. Riker stayed close, hand on his sword. The first few objects felt normal. Cold metal, old leather, nothing special. Then I touched a silver bracelet, delicate and etched with symbols I almost recognized. The world exploded. Please, I'm begging you. She's just a child. My mother's voice, young, terrified. She's an abomination. A man's voice, cold, familiar. Silver wolves are extinct for a reason. She doesn't know what she is. I've bound her wolf. She'll never. You think we'll let her live? Let your bastard spawn grow up and threaten us? Laughter, cruel laughter. You should have stayed hidden, Lyanna. Silver flames erupted. My mother screamed. And through the fire I saw them. 5 alphas, each wearing a ring with the Silverpine pack insignia. The man in front looked exactly like the alpha who'd raised me. Marcus Ashwood. Take the girl, he said. Bind her properly this time. Make sure she never remembers, never shifts, never becomes what her mother was. Hands grabbed me. A knife cut my throat. The silver birthmark burning into existence. This will mark her, someone said. Mark her as owned, as ours, to control. My mother's screaming stopped. I came back to myself on the floor, Demon's arms around me, everyone shouting. What did you see? His voice cut through the chaos. Ilara, what did you see? I couldn't speak. Could barely breathe. The memories, my memories, were real. Not nightmares. Real. Marcus Ashwood, I finally choked out. He killed her. He killed my mother. Demon's arms tightened around me. Your alpha? He's not my father. The words felt like glass. He murdered my real family and took me. Bound my wolf. Made me into... this. Why? Moira knelt beside us. Why would he do that? Control. The voice that spoke wasn't mine. It was the one in my head. But now it was using my mouth. He wanted to control the last Silverwolf, use her bloodline for his own power. But he couldn't break the original binding her mother placed, so he twisted it. Made it permanent. Made it deadly. Everyone stared at me. That wasn't Ilara, Marcus the Beta said carefully. That was her wolf. Moira's eyes were wide, speaking through her. The binding is fracturing. The pain hit then, excruciating, like my bones were trying to reform, my skin trying to split open. I screamed, and Demon pulled me closer. Get her to my chambers, Gum, he ordered. Now, and someone find every book we have on blood-binding rituals. The next few hours were a blur of pain and Moira's treatments and Diamond's voice, steady and commanding, keeping me anchored. When I could finally think again, night had fallen. I was in Demon's bed, actually in it this time, and he sat in a chair beside me, reading by candlelight. You stayed? I said. He looked up. You almost died. Again. I'm starting to think it's a habit with you. Sorry to disappoint. You didn't. He set the book aside. Ilara, if what you saw was true, If Marcus Ashwood really did kill your mother and bind you, we need to act carefully. He's still a powerful alpha, even in defeat, accusing him of murdering a silver wolf 300 years after they supposedly went extinct. No one will believe me. I believe you. His eyes held mine. Your reaction to that bracelet was real. The memories were real. And it explains everything. Why they sent you here. Why they wanted you dead. You're not just a threat to them. You're evidence of what they did. I sat up slowly. My whole body ached. What happens now? Now we prove it. We find evidence. We build a case. He stood, paced to the window, and we break that binding before it kills you. Moira said, I know what Moira said. I also know you're stronger than anyone gives you credit for. He turned back to me. You've survived this long under a curse designed to destroy you. You'll survive the breaking too. I wanted to believe him. Wanted to believe I was strong enough. The door burst open. Serafina stood there, flanked by 2 council members and a handful of nobles. Her eyes were wild, triumphant. There, she said, pointing at me in Demon's bed, him standing beside it in the candlelight. There's your proof, the Omega seducing the king in his own chambers. Demon's expression went cold. Get out, Serafina. Get out? She laughed. You're in here with her, unchaperoned, in the middle of the night. The entire court has been whispering about your obsession with this broken Omega, and now we have proof. She's bewitched you. That's ridiculous, I started. Is it? Serafina's smile was vicious. You can't shift, but you survived liquid silver. You have no wolf scent, yet the king's beast bows to you. What else could it be but dark magic? Seduction spells? Enough. Demon's voice dropped to that dangerous quiet. You forget yourself, Lady Serafina. I forget nothing. You're the one forgetting your duty, your engagement, your kingdom. She turned to the council members. I demand justice. The Omega has bewitched our king. According to ancient law, the punishment for seduction through dark magic is public whipping and exile. There was no dark magic, Demon said. Then let her prove it. Let her submit to testing. Unless you're too bewitched to allow it. Serafina's eyes glittered. The court deserves to know if their king is compromised. I saw the trap. Saw how perfectly she'd orchestrated it. If Damon defended me too strongly, it proved her point. If he didn't defend me at all, I'd be destroyed. And the council members were already nodding, already agreeing that testing was reasonable. Fine, I said, voice steady despite my terror. I'll submit to testing. I have nothing to hide. Demon's jaw clenched. Elara? It's okay. I met his eyes, tried to communicate everything I couldn't say aloud. I'll prove I haven't bewitched anyone. Serafina's smile widened. Excellent. The testing will be public. Tomorrow at dawn. The whole court will witness. They left, and Demon rounded on me. Why did you agree to that? Because fighting it makes you look weak, makes me look guilty. I stood, even though my legs shook. I'll pass their tests. You don't know what tests they'll use. Some of them are designed to kill. Then I'll die proving I didn't bewitch you. I touched his arm without thinking, and his emotions slammed into me. Rage. Fear. Something else so powerful it made my breath catch. Possessiveness. He felt possessive of me. I pulled my hand back like I'd been burned. I need to go, I whispered. Stay. Let Riker guard the door, but stay here where it's safe. It's not safe anywhere. I headed for the door, especially not here. He didn't stop me, but I felt his eyes on me the entire way out. Dawn came too quickly. The entire court gathered in the great hall. Serafina stood at the centre, flanked by a council sorcerer I didn't recognise, an old man with eyes like chips of ice. I walked to the centre of the hall, Riker behind me. Demon sat on his throne, expression unreadable. The testing will be simple, the sorcerer announced. 3 trials to prove the Omega hasn't used dark magic to bewitch our king. He held up a silver chain. First trial, silver binding. If she's used dark magic, the silver will burn her. He wrapped the chain around my wrist. It was cold, heavy, but it didn't burn. Murmurs rippled through the crowd. Second trial, truth serum. He produced a vial. Drink this and answer, have you used any magic to influence the king? I drank. The liquid tasted vile and my tongue went numb. No, I haven't used any magic at all. The truth serum forced the words out. Made lying impossible. More murmurs. Final trial, the sorcerer said, and his smile made my skin crawl. Blood test. Your blood on this artifact will reveal any dark magic in your veins. He held up a stone basin, ancient and carved with symbols that made my head hurt to look at. Cut your palm. Let 3 drops fall into the basin. Riker handed me a knife. I cut my palm, watched blood well up. Drip into the basin. Nothing happened for a moment. Then the blood began to glow, silver, bright as moonlight. The basin cracked, shattered. Silver light exploded outward, throwing everyone nearest to it backward. Pain tore through me. The binding. I could feel it breaking, tearing, ripping itself apart. The voice in my head screamed, the binding breaks. Choose, me or death. I fell to my knees. Silver light poured from my skin, from my eyes, from the mark on my throat. She's transforming, someone shouted. Kill her. Seraphina's voice, shrill with panic. She's going to kill us all. But I couldn't stop it, couldn't control it. The binding was shattering and my wolf was waking up, and I had to choose. Live or die. Become what I was meant to be, or let the binding destroy me completely. Through the pain, through the chaos. I heard Diamond's voice. Hold on, Ilara. Whatever happens, hold on. I chose. The silver light intensified, becoming blinding. My bones shifted, reformed. My skin burned and healed and burned again. And inside me, something ancient and powerful and furious opened its eyes for the first time in 17 years. Finally, my wolf said. Finally free. The light exploded outward one final time and everything went dark. When I opened my eyes, the great hall was silent. I was on the floor, naked, covered in silver marks that glowed faintly in the dawn light. And around me, in a perfect circle, every person who'd been standing close had been thrown back against the walls. Demon knelt beside me, threw his cloak over me. His eyes were wide. Your eyes, he whispered. They're silver. I looked past him to where Seraphina lay against the wall, bleeding from a cut on her forehead, staring at me with pure terror. What am I? I asked. Demon's answer was quiet. Final. Exactly what you were always meant to be. If you're still listening to this story up to this point, why don't you subscribe to this channel to continue getting impactful daily stories like this? We would be most grateful if you can do that to help boost this video to reach everyone. Thank you. Chapter 4, I woke to birdsong and sunlight filtering through leaves I didn't recognize. My body felt wrong. Not painful, just different. Like I'd been taken apart and put back together with pieces that didn't quite fit the way they used to. Easy. Demon's voice rough with exhaustion. Don't try to move yet. I turned my head. He sat beside me on the grass, looking like he hadn't slept in days. Dark circles under his eyes, stubble on his jaw, clothes rumpled. Where are we? My voice came out hoarse. The sacred grove, about 10 miles from the palace. He helped me sit up slowly. You've been unconscious for 3 days. I looked around. We were surrounded by ancient trees, their bark silver white, their leaves shimmering like they held moonlight. The air felt thick with power, the kind that made my skin prickle and my new wolf stir restlessly inside me. My wolf? I had a wolf now. This place. I touched the ground. It hummed beneath my palm. I can feel it. Everything. The earth, the trees, I stopped, overwhelmed. The sacred grove was created by silver wolves centuries ago. It's the only place outside the palace with wards strong enough to protect someone during a violent awakening. Demon's eyes met mine. Your wolf nearly tore you apart when the binding broke. I had to bring you here or you would have died. You carried me 10 miles? Ran, actually. You were dying. I didn't have time to be gentle. He studied my face. Your eyes are still silver. That's permanent now. I looked down at my hands. They seemed normal, but I could feel the power thrumming beneath my skin. Dangerous. Barely contained. I can feel her. My wolf? I pressed a hand to my chest. She's so angry. She has a right to be. She's been caged for 17 years. He stood, offered me his hand. Can you walk? Moira's been waiting. She needs to examine you. I took his hand, and his emotions hit me like a wall. Relief, bone-deep exhaustion, fear, and underneath it all, something fierce and protective that made my breath catch. He felt it too, the connection. His eyes widened slightly before he released my hand. Come on, he said. We have a lot to discuss. Moira had set up a camp near a stream. She took one look at me and pulled me into a tight embrace. Thank the gods, she whispered. I thought we'd lost you. I'm harder to kill than I look. Clearly. She pulled back, examined my eyes, my throat where the silver mark now glowed faintly. How do you feel? Strange, powerful, terrified. I sat on a log near the fire. My wolf, she's so strong. I don't know if I can control her. You're not supposed to control her. You're supposed to be partners. Moira poured tea into a cup, handed it to me. But before we discuss that, there are things you need to know. About your mother. About what really happened. Demon stood nearby, arms crossed, silent. Tell me, I said. Moira sat across from me. Your mother's name was Lunara Silvermane. She was the last true silver wolf, born to the bloodline, trained in the old ways. She was powerful beyond measure, could heal with a touch, read thoughts, command lesser wolves without speaking. She could have ruled the entire realm if she'd wanted to. But she didn't want to rule. No, she wanted peace, unity. She believed silver wolves were meant to be protectors, not conquerors. Moira's expression darkened. The alphas didn't see it that way. They saw a threat, someone who could strip their power with a thought. So they formed a coalition. My stomach turned. To kill her? Yes, 7 alphas representing the most powerful packs in the realm. She glanced at Demon, including Alpha Theron Blackthorn. Silence, heavy and suffocating. I looked at Demon. Your father. Yes, his jaw was tight. My father was one of the alphas who murdered your mother. The betrayal cut deeper than it should have. I'd known him for less than 2 weeks, but somehow it felt like he'd lied to me, hidden something fundamental. Did you know? My voice came out flat. When you first saw me, did you know who I was? I suspected. He met my eyes, the silver mark on your throat, the way my wolf reacted, the fact that you survived liquid silver, but I wasn't certain until the binding broke. And you didn't think to tell me? What was I supposed to say? His voice rose. That my father helped murder your mother? That every alpha in this kingdom would come for you if they knew what you were? That I was keeping you close because if I didn't, you'd be dead within a week? The truth would have been nice? The truth would have gotten you killed. He stepped closer. You think Seraphina was the only threat? Half the council wants you dead. Most of the noble families would support it, and if the other packs found out a silver wolf still existed. He stopped, ran a hand through his hair. I did what I had to do to keep you alive. By lying to me. By protecting you. His eyes flashed gold. Whether you believe it or not. Moira cleared her throat. Perhaps we should focus on what happens now, rather than past grievances. What happens now? I laughed bitterly. I have a wolf I can't shift into. I'm marked as the daughter of someone your father murdered, and apparently half the kingdom wants me dead. What exactly is supposed to happen now? You learn to shift. You learn to fight. Demon's voice was hard. And you decide whether you're going to run or whether you're going to claim what's rightfully yours. I don't want to claim anything. I just want... I stopped. What did I want? To survive. To understand what I was. to stop being afraid all the time. You want justice, my wolf said, speaking through me again, for our mother, for what they did to us. Everyone stared. Your wolf is strong, Moira said carefully. Stronger than I expected. Ilara, you need to learn to coexist with her, or she'll take control permanently. How? Practice, meditation and shifting. She stood. Which we should attempt soon before... A howl cut through the air, distant but closing fast. Damon's head snapped up. We need to go now. What is it? Hunters. They must have tracked us. He grabbed my arm. The Grove's wards will hold them for a while, but not forever. We ran. Demon led us deeper into the grove, following paths only he seemed to see. Moira kept pace despite her age, breathing hard but never falling behind. Who's hunting us? I gasped. I don't know, but they're fast and organised. Demon pulled me behind a massive tree. Stay quiet. I pressed against the bark, felt the tree's power singing through it, felt my wolf rising, eager to fight. Not yet, I whispered to her. I can't shift yet. You can, she growled back. You're just afraid. She wasn't wrong. The hunters passed close enough that I could smell them. 5 wolves, all male, all powerful. They spread out, searching methodically. The king's scent leads this way, one called, and the Omegas, fresh trail. Another voice, excited. The bounty's as good as ours. Bounty. Someone had put a price on my head. Demon's hand tightened on his sword. He was calculating whether to fight or run. 5 against 1. Bad odds, even for him. I can help, I whispered. You can't shift. I can do other things. I touched his arm, felt his emotions. Trust me. I didn't wait for permission. I stepped out from behind the tree. The 5 hunters stopped, stared, then smiled. There she is, the broken Omega who thinks she's special. The leader, a massive brute with scars across his face, moved closer. Our employer wants you alive, little girl. But he didn't say unharmed. Who hired you? Does it matter? He laughed. You're worth more gold than we'll see in 10 lifetimes. Dead or alive, but preferably screaming. I reached out with the empathy I'd been learning to control. Felt their emotions, greed, cruelty, confidence, and underneath it all, fear. They were terrified of what I might become. You should be afraid, I said quietly. Of you? The leader laughed again. You can't even... I touched the ground. The grove responded. Vines erupted from the earth, wrapping around the hunters' legs, pulling them down. They shouted, tried to shift, but the grove held them fast. What the... The leader stared at me. That's impossible. You're an Omega. I'm a silver wolf. I stepped closer, felt my eyes glowing. And this is our sacred ground. You shouldn't have come here. The vines tightened. The hunters screamed. Ilara. Demon's voice, warning. Don't kill them. We need to know who hired them. I wanted to kill them. My wolf wanted it desperately, but he was right. Who hired you? I demanded. The leader spat blood. Go to hell. I touched his face. His emotions slammed into me. Terror, pain and images. Memories of a meeting in a dark room. A woman in shadows offering gold. Red hair, cold eyes. Seraphina. Let them go, I told the grove. They're not worth it. The vines released. The hunter scrambled away, running without looking back. Demon stared at me. You controlled the grove. I didn't mean to. It just... I looked at my hands, responded. Silver wolves were connected to nature itself. They could command it. Moira smiled. You're remembering what you were always meant to be. We made it back to the palace by nightfall, using hidden passages Daman knew. He brought us straight to his private chambers, posted guards, and sent for Marcus. His beta arrived within minutes, looking grim. We have a problem, he said without preamble. Multiple problems, Demon corrected. What's happened? Lady Seraphina's been busy. She's convinced half the council that you're compromised, that the Omega has bewitched you using Silver Wolf magic. Marcus glanced at me. They're calling for a vote of no confidence. Let them vote. Demon's voice was cold. I'm still king. For now, but there's more. Marcus hesitated. Captain Riker came to me this morning, confessed he's been feeding information to Lady Seraphina for months. My stomach dropped. What? He's in love with her, has been for years. She promised him. Marcus shook his head. It doesn't matter what she promised. He betrayed us. Told her everything. About Ilara's awakening. About the prophecy. About your suspicions regarding the Alpha Coalition. Diamond's expression went deadly. Where is he now? In custody, but there's more. Marcus pulled out a letter. We intercepted this. Seraphina's been corresponding with rogue Alphas. They're planning something for the Blood Moon Festival tomorrow night. What kind of something? A coup. They have a sorcerer, someone powerful enough to create a suppression ward. It'll block all shifters in the palace from transforming except their own forces. Marcus met Demon's eyes. They're going to kill you. Make it look like the Omega used dark magic to murder the king and seize power. Silence. Heavy and terrible. How many are involved? Demon asked. At least 40 fighters, maybe more. And they have support from council members, nobles, servants. Marcus's jaw tightened. They've been planning this for months. We're outnumbered and outmaneuvered. Then we evacuate. Get Ilara out of here. No. I stepped forward. If I run, you look weak. If you look weak, they win even if they don't kill you. If you stay, you die, Demon said flatly. Maybe. Or maybe I finally stop hiding. I looked at all of them. My wolf says I can shift now, that I'm ready. You haven't shifted yet. We don't know, Moira started. Then it's time to find out. I met Demon's eyes. You said I needed to decide whether to run or claim what's mine. I'm claiming it. All of it. He studied me for a long moment, then nodded. Tomorrow night, then. We let them make their move. And when they do? His smile was sharp, dangerous. We show them exactly why they should have left you alone. The Blood Moon Festival began at sunset. The entire court gathered in the main courtyard, dressed in their finest. Music played. Wine flowed. Everyone pretended not to notice the tension crackling through the air. I stood beside Damon on the raised platform, wearing a dress Moira had chosen, silver silk that caught the moonlight. My mark glowed at my throat. My eyes shone silver in the torchlight. Let them see what I was. Let them be afraid. Seraphina arrived fashionably late, wearing red that matched the moon rising overhead. She smiled at me, sweet and poisonous. Lovely dress, Omega. Silver suits you. I thought so too. Her smile tightened. Enjoy the festival. It may be your last. The ceremony began. Dancing, toasts, the traditional blessing of the blood moon. Everything normal, until it wasn't. The first sign was the candles guttering out all at once. Then the temperature dropped 20 degrees in seconds. Demon tensed beside me. It's starting. A sorcerer stepped from the shadows. Old, powerful, eyes black as pitch. He raised his hands and dark symbols flared to life around the courtyard. Now, Seraphina commanded. The ward slammed down. Every shifter in the courtyard gasped, clutching at their chests. I felt it too, pressure trying to suppress my wolf. But my wolf was different. Ancient. The ward couldn't hold her. Kill him, Seraphina pointed at Damon. Now, while he's weakened. Her fighters moved, 40 warriors all armed, all wearing charms that protected them from the suppression ward. Demon drew his sword even though his wolf was locked down. Marcus did the same. They were going to fight, but they couldn't win. Not like this. Ilara, run, Demon ordered. No. Damn it. Run? I said no. I stepped forward, felt my wolf surging up. I'm done running. The fighters surrounded us. Seraphina laughed. Foolish Omega. Even with your awakening, you're no match for 40 trained warriors. She nodded to her men. Kill the king. Bring me the Omega's head. They charged, and my wolf spoke, clear as a bell in my mind. Let me out, daughter of moonlight. Let me show them why they feared us. I'd been fighting her since the binding broke, fighting the change, the power, the terrifying truth of what I was, but I was done fighting. I closed my eyes, stopped resisting, and surrendered. "Come out," I whispered, "show them." The shift took me. Not painful like I'd feared, natural, right. Like coming home after a lifetime of being lost. My bones reformed. My skin became fur. My senses exploded with information, every scent, every sound, every heartbeat in the courtyard. Silver light engulfed everything. When it faded, I stood on 4 legs, massive and powerful and finally whole. My fur glowed silver in the moonlight. My eyes burned with ancient power. And when I looked at the warriors surrounding us, they froze. Then one by one, they dropped to their knees. Not by choice. Their wolves forced them down, recognizing what I was, what I'd always been. The last silver wolf. Serafina stared at me, face white with terror. "No, this isn't, you're supposed to be broken." I padded toward her, and she stumbled backward. Every wolf in the courtyard knelt. Guards, nobles, council members, even Serafina's conspirators, their wolves overriding their will, forcing submission to an alpha their instincts recognized as supreme. Only Demon remained standing. He stared at me with wonder and something else, something that made my wolf preen with satisfaction. His wolf didn't need to kneel. It had already chosen me. I shifted back to human form, barely noticing my nakedness. Power hummed through every cell. "The coup is over," I said, my voice carrying across the silent courtyard. "Anyone who raises a weapon against your king answers to me." The fighters dropped their swords like they'd been burned. I looked at Serafina. "You wanted to know what I am. Now you know." She opened her mouth, closed it, for once had nothing to say. Demon stepped beside me, draped his cloak over my shoulders. His hand found mine. "All hail," he said quietly, "the Silver Wolf." And as one, the entire court echoed, "All hail." If you're still listening to this story up to this point, why don't you subscribe to this channel to continue getting impactful daily stories like this? We would be most grateful if you can do that to help boost this video to reach everyone. Thank you. Chapter 5. The sun rose on a changed kingdom. I stood at Diamond's window, wrapped in his cloak, watching the courtyard below. Servants moved quietly, cleaning up the aftermath of last night's failed coup. Guards escorted prisoners to the dungeons. And everywhere I looked, people stopped what they were doing to stare up at the window. At me. "You should eat something." Demon emerged from his bathing chamber, hair damp, dressed in fresh clothes. "You barely touched dinner." I wasn't hungry. I turned to face him. "How many prisoners?" 43, including Serafina. His jaw tightened. "The council wants them executed immediately. Public display to discourage future rebellions." "And what do you want?" He moved closer, studied my face. "I want to know why you're standing at my window instead of resting. You shifted for the first time last night. Your body should be exhausted." "I feel fine. Better than fine." I touched my chest, felt my wolf sleeping peacefully inside me. She's quiet now, content. Because she finally got what she wanted. He reached out, traced the silver mark on my throat with gentle fingers. "You were magnificent last night, terrifying, beautiful." Every wolf in that courtyard felt the compulsion to kneel, and they couldn't fight it. "I didn't mean to force them. You didn't have to mean it. You're sovereign." He said it matter-of-factly, like it was something I should already understand. "It's not just a title, Ilara. It's what you are. Your wolf outranks every other wolf in existence. When you command, they have no choice but to obey." The weight of that settled over me. "I don't want that kind of power." "Too bad. You have it anyway." He stepped back, ran a hand through his damp hair. "The question is, what you're going to do with it. Before I could answer, someone knocked. Marcus entered without waiting for permission, his face grim. "We have a situation?" "Another one?" Diamond's voice was dry. "What now?" 3 Alpha Kings sent messengers overnight. They've heard about the Silver Wolf's return. Marcus handed Damon a sealed letter. "They're demanding she submit to their authority, or they'll consider it an act of war." Demon tore open the seal, scanned the contents. His expression went dark. "They want you to present yourself at the Grand Council in 1 week. Kneel before all the Alphas and acknowledge their supremacy." He crumpled the letter. "Or they'll march on my territory and eliminate the threat." "Which Alphas?" I asked. "Corwin of the Northern Packs, Helena of the Eastern Territories, and Matthias of the Coastal Reaches." Marcus's tone was carefully neutral. 3 of the 7 who participated in your mother's murder." My wolf stirred, angry. "They're afraid," I said quietly. "They think I'm going to come for revenge." "Are you?" Demon asked. I met his eyes. "Would you blame me if I did?" "No. But starting a war with half the realm isn't going to bring your mother back." He moved to his desk, spread out a map. "If they march, we'll have maybe 3 weeks before their combined forces reach the capital. We're outnumbered 5 to 1. Can we negotiate? With people who murdered your mother because they feared her power?" Marcus shook his head. "They won't stop until you're dead, or they are. Then we prepare for war." Demon's voice was final. "Double the guard. Recall all soldiers from the borders. Send word to our allies. Wait." I stepped closer to the map. "There might be another way." They both looked at me. "What if I do go to the Grand Council? Not to submit. To talk?" I traced the borders on the map. "They're afraid because they don't know what I want. If I can convince them I'm not a threat—" "You are a threat," Diamond interrupted. "That's the point. You could command every wolf in their territories to turn against them, and they couldn't stop you. But I won't. And if I can prove that, they'll kill you the moment you set foot in council chambers." He slammed his hand on the desk. "No, absolutely not. We fight. And how many people die in that fight?" I challenged. "How many wolves on both sides tear each other apart because their leaders are afraid of me? Better them than you? That's not your choice to make." We stared at each other. His wolf pushed against his control, wanting to force me to safety. Mine pushed back, refusing to be caged ever again. Marcus cleared his throat. "Perhaps we should focus on more immediate concerns, like the prisoners. And the fact that Lady Seraphina is demanding to speak with you, Ilara, personally." I turned to him. "Why?" "She won't say, but she's been screaming for hours that she has information about your mother's death. Information that will change everything." He paused. "She might be lying. Or she might not be." I headed for the door. "I'll talk to her." "Ilara," Demon started, "I'm not asking permission." I looked back at him. "You said I have power. Let me use it." The dungeons were cold and damp, exactly like dungeons should be. Seraphina's cell was at the end of a long corridor. She sat on a stone bench, still wearing her ruined red dress, hair tangled and wild. When she saw me, she stood. "Finally, I've been waiting for hours. You tried to kill me, kill Demon, stage a coup." I stayed outside the bars. "Why would I rush to talk to you?" "Because I have information about Lunara Silvermane, about what really happened the night she died." Seraphina moved closer to the bars. "Information your precious king has been keeping from you. I already know Demon's father participated in the murder." "Do you know why?" Her smile was sharp. "Do you know what they took from her body? What Theron Blackthorn used to become the most powerful alpha in history?" My wolf growled. "Tell me." "First, you have to promise me something, clemency, exile instead of execution. You don't get to bargain, then you don't get answers." She sat back down. "Your choice." I wanted to refuse, wanted to let her rot. But if she really knew something about my mother— "Exile," I said. "To the farthest border. You never come back." "Deal." She stood again. The night your mother died, the Alphas didn't just murder her. They took something, a crown. Ancient silver, forged by the Fur Silver Wolves, imbued with power that could make its wearer invincible. My blood ran cold. What kind of power? Everything. Strength, speed, healing. Command over all wolves regardless of rank. Immortality. Seraphina's eyes glittered. But there was a catch. The crown was blood-bonded to the Silver Wolf line. Only they could wear it safely. Anyone else, she trailed off meaningfully. Anyone else what? Would be slowly poisoned by it. The power would eat them alive from the inside out. Theron knew this, but he was arrogant, thought he could master it anyway. She leaned against the bars. He wore it for 20 years, used its power to unite the packs, to become Alpha King, and it killed him, slowly. Painfully. I thought of Daemon's father, the stories of his strength, his sudden death when Daemon was 16. Where's the crown now? Where do you think? Seraphina's smile was vicious. Daemon inherited it when his father died. He's been dying from it ever since. The world tilted. You're lying. Am I? Ask him about the headaches that never stop, the seizures he hides from the court, the way his wolf gets weaker every year instead of stronger. She pressed her face against the bars. That crown is killing him, Silver Wolf, and the only way to save him is for you to claim it or destroy it. Either way, you lose. I turned and ran. Daemon was in his study, Marcus standing over him while Moira examined something on his arm. They all looked up when I burst in. Is it true? I demanded. The crown. You have it. It's poisoning you. Daemon's expression went carefully blank. Seraphina told you. Answer the question. He stood slowly, rolled up his sleeve. Black veins spread from his wrist to his shoulder, pulsing with dark energy. They looked like they were moving, growing. How long? My voice broke. Since I took the throne, 6 years. He rolled his sleeve back down. It's manageable. Moira's treatments keep it controlled. Barely, Moira said quietly. It's getting worse, Your Majesty. Faster than before. Why didn't you tell me? Because there's nothing you can do about it. Daemon moved to his desk, pulled out a drawer. Inside lay a crown of silver so pure it seemed to glow with its own light. Beautiful and deadly. This has been in my family for 23 years. My father stole it from your mother's body, used its power to build his empire, passed it to me along with the kingdom. I stared at the crown. My wolf recognized it, wanted it. Why keep it? Why not destroy it? Because I tried. He touched the crown, winced. It can't be destroyed by normal means. I've had the best smiths, the strongest magic users try. Nothing works. And if I stop wearing it, he stopped. If you stop wearing it, what? The power it's given me fades. My wolf weakens. The territories I control start to rebel. He met my eyes. The crown is the only thing keeping this kingdom stable. Without it, we'd be at war with every pack in the realm. So you're dying to keep the peace? Yes. Simple. Final. Marcus cleared his throat. There's something else you should know. We've received word that someone's coming to the palace. Requesting an audience. Who? Marcus Ashwood, Ilara's former alpha. My wolf surged forward, ready to tear him apart. Absolutely not, Daemon said. Send him away. Better yet, execute him for treason. He says he has evidence about the night Lunara died. Marcus pulled out a letter. He says he didn't participate in the murder, that he tried to stop it. He's lying, I said flatly. I saw him in my vision. He was there. Then let him come and lie to your face, Daemon said. And when he does, I'll kill him myself. Marcus Ashwood arrived 3 hours later, escorted by a dozen guards. He looked older than I remembered, greyer, worn down by something I couldn't name. When he saw me standing beside Daemon in the throne room, he dropped to his knees. Ilara, I know you have no reason to believe me, but I need you to listen. Speak, Daemon commanded, quickly. Marcus pulled a bundle from his cloak. Letters. Dozens of them, yellowed with age. These are from your mother, written to me over the course of 3 years before she died. I took them with shaking hands, opened the first one. Marcus, I know you said we can't be together, that the pack would never accept a silver wolf as their Luna, but I need your help. The other alphas are circling. They know what I am. They're planning something. I looked up at him. You loved her. Yes. His voice was rough. We met when she was running, hiding from the alphas who wanted her dead. I offered her sanctuary, protection, and I fell in love with her. I read the next letter, and the next, each one more desperate than the last. My mother begging for help. For protection for her unborn child, for a way to escape the alphas who were hunting her. The last letter was dated the night she died. Marcus, they found me. I'm taking Ilara and running. If something happens to me, please protect her. Bind her wolf if you have to. Keep her hidden until she's strong enough to defend herself. I love you. I've always loved you. Lunara, I tried to stop them, Marcus said. That night, I followed the alphas to where they'd cornered her. Tried to talk them down. But Theron Blackthorn, he swallowed hard. He wouldn't listen. He killed her while I watched, and when it was over, he threatened to kill you too, unless I helped hide what happened. So, you took me, bound my wolf, to save your life. If the alphas knew Lunara had a daughter, they would have hunted you down. His eyes were wet. I kept you weak. Hated. Because it kept you safe. If you'd ever shown signs of power, they would have known what you were. You made my life hell. Yes, he didn't look away. I'm not asking for forgiveness. I'm asking you to understand. Everything I did, the binding, the cruelty, sending you here, was to keep you alive long enough to awaken. I wanted to hate him. My wolf wanted to tear him apart. But the letters in my hands, they were real. My mother's handwriting. Her love for him obvious in every word. Why come here now? Demon asked. Because the alphas are planning something, the same ones who killed Lunara. They're gathering forces, preparing for war. Marcus stood slowly, and they're not just afraid of Ilara. They're afraid of what she might find. What might I find? The truth about the crown. He looked at Demon. Your father didn't just steal it, he learned how to use it. There's a ritual, a way to transfer the crown's bond from silver wolf blood to any alpha. But it requires... Requires what? I demanded. A living silver wolf's heart? Silence. Absolute silence. They're going to try to kill you, Marcus said, not to eliminate the threat, to complete the ritual, to make themselves invincible. Diamond moved between us. They won't touch her. You can't stop all of them, not alone, not dying from that crown. Marcus met my eyes. But she can, if she claims the crown, takes back what was stolen from her bloodline. And kills Demon in the process, Moira said. The crown is bonded to him now. If she claims it, it will tear the connection violently. He'll die. Then we destroy it, I said. Find a way. Destroying it kills him too, Marcus interrupted. The crown's power is the only thing keeping his wolf alive. Without it, his wolf dies. And when a wolf dies while the human still lives... He trailed off. I knew what happened. The human went mad, or died, or both. There has to be another way, I said, desperately. There isn't. Demon's voice was calm. Too calm. Ilara, you need to claim the crown. Use its power to protect yourself from the alphas. Let me die. No. It's not your choice. Yes, it is. I grabbed his arm, felt his emotions. Pain. Resignation. Love. He loved me. Had loved me maybe from the moment his wolf bowed to mine. You don't get to sacrifice yourself, I said. Not for your father's sins. Not for me. Then what do you suggest? His eyes held mine. Because in a week, those alphas will be here. They'll kill you, take your heart, and use it to become unstoppable, unless you claim the crown first. I looked at the crown on his desk, felt my wolf's certainty. What if I don't have to choose? I said slowly. What if there's a third option? There isn't. What if I claim the crown, but share its power? I pulled the crown from its case. It hummed in my hands, recognizing my blood. The bond is designed to protect silver wolves, to give them power over all other wolves. But you're not just any wolf. You're my... I stopped. Couldn't say it. Your what? He stepped closer. My mate. The word fell out. Your wolf chose me. Mine chose you. That's why it bowed. Why it recognized you as equal. Mate bonds don't work that way with artifacts, Moira said carefully. The magic is too old, too rigid. Maybe. Or maybe no one's tried it before because there haven't been any silver wolves to try it with. I held the crown out to Demon. Trust me. Please. He stared at the crown, then at me. If this kills you, it won't. I hoped I sounded more confident than I felt. Put it on my head. He took the crown with trembling hands, raised it slowly. I love you, he said. In case this goes wrong, I need you to know that. I know, I smiled. I love you too. Now stop stalling. He placed the crown on my head. Power exploded through me. Ancient, vast, overwhelming. I felt every wolf in the kingdom, their heartbeats, their emotions, their loyalty, or lack of it. Felt the land itself, wild and untamed. Felt the magic that had been sleeping in my blood wake up fully. And I felt the bond trying to tear away from Demon. Trying to kill him to claim me fully. No, I said aloud. He's mine, part of me. The bond includes him. The magic fought back. It wasn't designed for this. Wasn't meant to be shared. I don't care what you were designed for, I told it. I'm sovereign. I make the rules now. Demon gasped, fell to his knees. The black veins on his arm glowed silver. I knelt beside him, pressed my hand to his chest. Felt our wolves meeting, merging. Not into one. We were still separate, still ourselves, but connected in a way that went deeper than pack bonds. Deeper than anything I'd felt before. Together, I whispered. Equal. The magic bent, shaped itself to my will. Demon's eyes opened, silver, like mine. What did you do? He breathed. Changed the rules. I helped him to his feet. How do you feel? Strong, clear. He looked at his arm. The black veins were gone. The poison's gone. The crown recognizes you now, not as its bearer, as its partner. I touched his face. We're bonded, really bonded. No artifact can break that. He pulled me into a kiss that tasted like power and promise and home. When we broke apart, Moira was smiling, Marcus was staring, and the room felt different, charged with possibility. Well, Moira said, that was unexpected. Get used to it, I said. Things are going to change around here. The court gathered at my request. Every noble, every servant, every guard. They packed the great hall until there was barely room to breathe. I stood at the centre, Demon beside me, the crown gleaming on my head. For 300 years this kingdom has operated under Alpha supremacy, I said, my voice carried to every corner. Alphas ruled, Betas served. Omegas suffered. That ends today. Murmurs rippled through the crowd. I am Elara Silvermane, daughter of Lunara, last of the Silver Wolves, and I am your sovereign. I let power pulse through my words. Every wolf in the room felt it. From this day forward, all ranks are equal in the eyes of the law. Omegas will not be abused. Betas will not be dismissed. And Alphas will be held accountable for their actions. That's madness, someone shouted. The natural order. The natural order is whatever I say it is. I met their eyes. Challenge me if you disagree. No one moved. I thought not. I softened my tone. I don't want to rule through fear. I want to rule through fairness, through justice. The old ways led to my mother's murder and centuries of oppression. We're better than that. Silence. Then someone in the back began to clap. Others joined. Within moments, the entire hall was applauding. Demon's hand found mine, squeezed. "Not bad for your first royal proclamation," he murmured. "Just wait until they hear the rest." The doors burst open. A messenger stumbled in, covered in blood, barely able to stand. "Your Majesty," he gasped. "The northern, eastern and coastal territories. They've declared war. Their armies march tomorrow." The crowd erupted in panic. "How many?" Demon demanded. 15,000, maybe more." The messenger collapsed. "And they've brought something with them. Something ancient. The scout said—" He struggled to breathe. "The scout said it feeds on pack magic, that it was buried with the last silver wolf for a reason." My blood turned to ice. "What is it?" "They're calling it the Void Walker." The messenger's eyes rolled back. "And it's coming for you?" He died before he could say more. The celebration turned to chaos. People shouting, guards mobilizing, council members demanding answers. But I stood frozen, the crown heavy on my head, Demon's hand in mine, an ancient enemy, awakened to destroy me. "Well," I said quietly, "this should be interesting." Demon's laugh was sharp, dangerous. That's one word for it. Together we turned to face our court, our kingdom, our war, and whatever darkness was coming for us. Thank you for watching this video. Subscribe, like and share this video to continue listening to this type of story daily, and also to appreciate this community too. I would like to hear your wonderful opinion about this story. Please comment below.